She stood barefoot in a silk blouse and pencil skirt, hair slick with rain, purse clutched tightly, and eyes locked on the blinking red light of her apartment door. Locked out. No keys, no phone. Just the weight of exhaustion, the slap of a bad day, and the storm rolling in behind her. And across the hallway, a door creaked open. Are you, okay?" asked a voice she hadn't heard before. A man stood there, holding a child in one arm and a grocery bag in the other. His shirt was half-tucked, hair slightly mussed, and he looked like he'd just arrived from a battlefield disguised as a supermarket. That's how it started. A locked door, a soaked CEO, and a single dad who had no idea who he was helping. Natalie Morgan wasn't just any tenant in the high-rise building on Belmont Avenue. She was the youngest female CEO of Linro Tech, a name that graced magazine covers and industry blogs. Brilliant, ambitious, guarded. She rarely spoke to her neighbors, always swept through the lobby with purpose. But tonight, her phone was dead, her assistant gone home, and she couldn't remember where she'd left her keys. The doorman had left early due to a family emergency. Everything conspired against her. "I'm fine," she said, though she was visibly shivering. "Just locked out. I'll figure it out." "You're soaked." The man shifted the child, a sleepy little girl, to his other hip. "Look, I live right across. You can wait inside. At least get dry. I have, tea." Natalie hesitated. She didn't do favors. Didn't rely on anyone. But tonight wasn't about control. It was about survival. "I won't bite," he added with a sheepish grin. All right," she said finally, and followed him into the warm, cluttered apartment across the hall. The space was nothing like hers. No steel surfaces or minimalist art. Instead, it smelled faintly of cinnamon and lavender. Toys were scattered on a colorful rug. The air buzzed with the hum of a fish tank and the soft murmur of an old cartoon paused on the screen. "I'm Theo," he said, settling his daughter on the couch with a blanket. "That's Lily. She's 5. She loves purple, hates broccoli, and thinks Band-Aids fix everything." Natalie blinked, unaccustomed to such open warmth. "I'm Natalie," she said, almost out of breath. He handed her a towel and gestured toward the kitchen. "Tea's in progress. Do you want something stronger? I think there's wine in the cabinet, somewhere." She smiled despite herself. "Tea is fine." Minutes turned into an hour. She learned Theo was a freelance illustrator who worked from home and juggled single parenting with deadlines. His wife had passed away 2 years ago, cancer. His world had become smaller, more tender, but fuller in ways he never expected. Natalie found herself talking too. About work, the pressure, the loneliness of always being the one in charge. She didn't say she was a CEO. Just said she worked in tech. She didn't want to be seen as anything but the woman currently wrapped in a borrowed hoodie drinking chamomile on someone's couch. Lily woke briefly and crawled into her father's lap, eyeing Natalie with curiosity. "Are you a princess?" she asked softly. "No," Natalie laughed. "Far from it. You're pretty like one." Theo gave his daughter a squeeze. "She's kind of right." Natalie looked down, embarrassed. No one spoke to her like this, simple, honest, kind. Eventually, building security arrived. The night guard had been called back and was able to open her door. Theo stood beside her as the lock clicked open. "Thanks," she said. "For everything." "No problem." He paused. "If you ever get locked out again, you know where I am." "I might just knock on your door for the tea," she replied. Natalie returned to her pristine, cold apartment. For the first time, it felt empty. She looked at the untouched wine bottles, the spotless counters, the silence that echoed too loudly. She didn't sleep well. The next morning, she left early for a board meeting, but paused outside Theo's door. She slid a small thank you note under it, with a coffee shop gift card and a scribbled message, "For the tea and kindness." N. A week passed. Then 2. She thought of them more than she admitted, Theo's warmth, Lily's sweet voice, the messy living room that somehow felt like a home. Then on a Sunday morning, she saw them again. At the park down the block. Lily was on the swing, giggling. Theo sat nearby, sketching in a notebook. He looked up. Their eyes met. "You found the park," he said, rising to meet her. "I did." She hesitated. "I needed fresh air. Lily's trying to touch the clouds." "Good goal," Natalie said. "Want to help her?" She blinked. I'm not great with kids." "She's 5. She's not judging." Natalie walked slowly to the swings and gave Lily a gentle push. The girl squealed with joy. That day led to another. And another. They started seeing each other on weekends. Natalie would show up at the park, or Theo would invite her over for Sunday pancakes. She told him more about her life. He was shocked when he found out who she really was. "You're that Natalie Morgan?" he asked, eyes wide. She nodded. "Still like me?" He chuckled. "I liked you when you were just the lady with bad luck and good taste in tea." It wasn't instant love. It was something deeper. They talked about real things. They challenged each other. Lily drew pictures of the 3 of them, stick figures holding hands. But it wasn't easy. Natalie's world was full of meetings, investors, media. Theo's was drop-offs, bedtime stories, freelance gigs that paid late. There were moments when it felt impossible. One night, she called him from her office, overwhelmed. "I don't know how to do this," she admitted. "Be human. Be soft." "You don't have to be anything," Theo said. "Just be you. That's enough." She cried that night. Not because she was broken, but because someone finally saw her, not as a boss, not as a headline, but as a woman who was tired of being strong all the time. Their relationship grew slowly. Lily became attached to Natalie. They'd have movie nights, paint sessions, mini picnics in the hallway between their apartments. The 3 of them were building something, imperfect but real. Then came the promotion. Natalie was offered a position overseas, Paris. A dream offer. More money. More prestige. She didn't tell Theo right away. She stared at the email for days. Finally, she showed him. "You're going, right?" he asked, quiet. "I don't know. You worked for this." "I didn't work for this to be alone in another city." He held her hand. "Then don't go alone." She looked at him. "Theo. Whatever happens," he said, "don't choose what you think you should want. Choose what makes you feel alive." The deadline to respond came. She clicked reply. Typed slowly. That night, she knocked on Theo's door. Lily answered and hugged her tight. Natalie looked up at Theo and smiled. "I turned it down." He stared. "You did what?" "I want to stay," she said. "With you. With both of you." Theo didn't say anything. He just pulled her in. Months passed. The building staff began whispering about the woman who once never smiled now showing up with a lunchbox and a small child on her hip. She was different. Softer. Happier. Natalie still ran the company. But now she left at 5. She made breakfast on weekends. She took Lily to dance class. She held Theo's hand in elevators. Her apartment no longer felt cold. And every now and then, when someone asked how they met, Natalie would smile and say, "I got locked out of my apartment. And it turned out to be the best thing that ever happened to me." Because sometimes, it takes losing the key to the wrong door to find your way into the right one. And behind that door, a little girl now called her mama. That single dad. He never knew he was helping a CEO. But she would always say, he didn't save her because of who she was. He saved her because he was the kind of man who opened his door when someone knocked. Even when they didn't know they needed saving.